What's good, everybody, man? Welcome to another episode of Talking Sports with Manny. And on this particular episode, we're going to be talking all-star reserves. There were plenty of guys selected. There were plenty of guys that were not selected. Somebody made a valid point that, the league should, expand this all-star reserves because literally 7 names on each side is not enough. So let me pull up my little screen. Share my screen so you guys can get a visual. For those that are watching on YouTube, please subscribe, share, like, all that good stuff. But I'm going to share my screen real quick so you guys can see what I see. Anthony Davis was selected, and this is Anthony Davis' 8th selection. He's been in the league 9 years, and he's made it 8 times. So that's amazing right there. Paul George, he was selected. This is his 7th appearance. Rudy Gobert, he was selected his 2nd. Did y'all remember that time when Rudy Gobert did not make the All-Star team and he was crying? And Draymond Green went off on him a little bit. Then you got Dame Lillard, beast. There's some debates whether Damian Lillard should be starting or not. And on the last pod, I said that Damian Lillard should not be starting. That Luka should not be starting and Dame should be starting in front of Luka. I want to apologize for those comments, and I'm going to explain why I say what I say in just a minute. Donovan Mitchell, man, the Jazz are playing phenomenal. They got the best record in the NBA. The Jazz, some people said that Mike Conley should have made it. Some people said Jordan Clarkson should have made it, but I think 2 is enough. You got Donovan Mitchell and you got Rudy Gobert. I think that's enough. Chris Paul with his 11th All-Star appearance. And Zion, man, Zion has been great this season, and I think he's deserving. But somebody made a great point. Jalen Rose said, you know what? If you're going to take somebody out, then who are you going to replace that person with? Or so if I'm saying that Devin Booker should have made it, then who am I removing from this group right here? Obviously, Anthony Davis is going to be replaced, so maybe Devin Booker. But Jaylen Brown for the East, his first appearance, he deserved it. James Harden, 9th appearance. Then you got Zach LaVine with his first. He deserved it, man. Zach LaVine has been a monster this year. Julius Randle, another first-timer. So we got some first-timers out here in the East. And then you got Ben Simmons with his 3rd. Jason Tatum with his 2nd, and Nikolai Vucevic with his 2nd. Now, we can debate about Ben Simmons, whether he deserved to be there or not. I would say yes. But, let me stop sharing the screen and let's, go ahead and dive on into it. Now, there's several teams that, definitely should have had multiple people. With what the NBA is doing, you got to ask yourself, are you rewarding winning? Or are you rewarding stats? I remember last year, Bradley Beal was amazing. And guess what? He wasn't able to, make the All-Star team. Not only that, he didn't even make the All-NBA team. And he was the 3rd leading scorer in the NBA. And I get it. His stats were bad. But then, his team was bad. The record was bad. But then you have a guy like Trae Young. Record was bad, but he made the All-Star team. So, what is the NBA doing when it comes to the All-Star game? Are you rewarding stats or are you rewarding winning? For those that are chiming in, feel free to comment. Let's talk. For those that are watching this as a replay, please be sure to drop your comments in the comment section of the YouTube. And for those that are not watching on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to Talking Sports with Manny. Anytime I drop some new content, you guys can go ahead and get on in. From time to time, I do these live streams. But we're looking at Anthony Davis. He had a great season. He was having a great season. The injury came. So with Anthony Davis out, who comes in? And I'm going to kind of pull up the standings because if we're going to say winning, then you got to reward a team like Phoenix. Obviously, you have Chris Paul in there. I'm not saying that Chris Paul shouldn't be an all-star, but should Devin Booker be an all-star? The answer is yes. But then, like Jalen Rose said, who are you removing? If you're replacing if you're going to remove somebody, then who are you replacing? Yeah, DeRozan got snubbed. Most definitely. Let me go ahead and put your comment on the screen. Somebody said DeRozan got snubbed. And I agree. DeRozan should have been there. Because when we talk about winning, right? If we're talking about winning, then DeRozan should have definitely been there. You know, he was putting up amazing numbers. And it's crazy how, like, the NBA does this. Okay, so you got Philly at number 1, right, in the East. That have Joel Embiid, and then they have Simmons. That's enough. That's enough right there. So it's definitely a hard thing to do. Who are you going to remove? Yeah, I mean, like I said early on in the show, having 7 guys on each side as a reserve is, I mean, that's tough. That's tough. You need more than 7. I say expand it to, you know, a 15-man roster on both sides. That way you can kind of acknowledge and help everybody. I mean, even 17. I mean, this is a all-star game for the fans. I mean, I think this year it's been so many guys snubbed. Then you look at the Brooklyn Nets. You know, you got James Harden in there. You got KD as a starter. But Kyrie's not in there, is he? Let me go back to my list. I don't think Kyrie's on this thing, but Kyrie is deserving, isn't he? I mean, you look at the numbers, Kyrie has produced better than most guards, but I know he had that, you know, he had that whole mess where, you know, he was out and things of that nature. But yeah, Kyrie deserves to be there. He's not there. Then you go to Milwaukee. They're the number 3 team in the East, and you have Giannis. I get that. Chris Middleton should have definitely been there. What's up, bro? What's up, bro? Yeah, Chris Middleton should have definitely been there, but he's not. I mean, so are we going off of winning, or are we going off of stats, or are we going off of both? It's an all-star game. Do we really need players playing 40 minutes? Exactly. We don't need the players playing 40 minutes. I mean, spread it around. Give everybody 2 to 3 minutes at a time. You know, bring in a new 5. Definitely need a 15-man roster. So we go on to the Pacers. The Pacers, they have no teams, right? I mean, they have like no players. So bonus, that was a very a big guy, a big name that should have made the All-Star team, but he didn't. So if I'm bringing in Sabonis, who am I removing, right? So that's a crazy problem. Then you have Toronto. Toronto, if you guys remember when the season started, Toronto was so low on the totem pole. They're now 16-16. They're now the 5th seed in the East. And you got to reward somebody, right? Van Vliet didn't make it. Siakam didn't make it. Did Toronto even have anybody? Wow. Toronto had no one. So Toronto had no one. And that's just crazy to me. That's crazy to me. Van Vliet, you had Kyle Lowry in spurts, but they have no one. Van Vliet was very deserving. Then you have Boston, who's the 6th seed, but then you're going to reward Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Both very deserving, both putting up crazy, amazing numbers as wing players. So being a Lakers fan, I don't like Boston at all, but Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown was very deserving. Then you move down to the New York Knicks. They're the 7th seed. They have a 15-17 record, and then you reward a Julius Randle. Julius Randle is having an amazing season. You can go ahead and pull up the stats and, you know, look at the numbers. But is Julius Randle more deserving than a Sabonis? That's one I gotta, you know, scratch my head on right there. I mean, for the Knicks fans, for the NBA fans, it's finally good. It's finally great to get a New York Knick as an all-star. When was the last time a New York Knick player was an all-star? I mean, when was the last time? I don't know. Then you got the Chicago Bulls at 14-16, and they reward Zach LaVine. Very deserving, but then again, are we rewarding winning or stats? Then you have a team like Charlotte, no one. LaMelo does look good. Miami, no one. I mean, they deserve to send nobody. I mean, they're 14-17 right now. Jimmy Butler has been in and out the lineup. Bam has been banged up. So I think they got that one right for once. ATL, no Trae Young. But last season, ATL was in a terrible position, and Trae Young made it, right? So there's no consistency here. It's a popularity contest. It's just one of those things. Then you got the Orlando Magic. They send Nikolai Vucevic, right? 13-19 record. I don't get it. He's putting up amazing numbers, but then again, you can make a case that Sabonis should have gone over Nikolai Vucevic. And then if you're talking about, stats or flair or swag or, having these players that produce and they put on a show, you can make a case that Trae Young should have gone over Nikolai Vucevic. I'm sorry, he's a good player, but he's kind of boring. You want to see somebody shooting threes, crossing somebody over, dunking the ball versus a big man. And if the big man – now, being a hooper and being a guy that goes into the low post, you got to give some credit. You got to show some love. You got to show some love to the big man. So it's good that the big man position is not completely dead yet. Then you got Cleveland. Cleveland could have had a couple guys, maybe just one guy. Colin Sexton has been playing out of his mind, but they are 11-21, right? You got the Wizards. Of course, you reward Bradley Beal because he's leading the NBA in scoring. So you got to reward Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal was the biggest snub last season, so this year they got it right, okay? And Bradley Beal should be an all-NBA player this season. Now, when you look at it, they do have a guy in the name of Russell Westbrook. He is an exciting player, whether you like him or not. Personally, I'm not a Russell Westbrook guy, but he is good for an all-star game. I mean, he's going to, make some plays, although he's not been dunking the ball this season, but Russell Westbrook is a guy that you would figure would be in an all-star game. Detroit, Grant really deserved to be here, but they're the worst team in the East, so I can't make a case for Jeremy Grant. Sorry, you deserve not to be there. Now we go to the West. You got Utah, best record in the NBA. The question is, should Utah have had 3 players go to the All-Star game? My answer is no. I believe as good as Utah is, they're not quite an exciting team outside of Donovan Mitchell, in my opinion. Now, Donovan Mitchell and Gobert going, yes, they're deserving. Both guys are going to be all-NBA guys. There was questions, should Mike Conley go? Well, he's been in and out of the lineup. Jordan Clarkson, it would have been crazy to get a guy to go to the All-Star game coming off the bench. But like I said, I don't feel that they deserve 3 players. They're not on Golden State's level or some of the other teams have sent 3 in the past. I know back in the day, Atlanta sent, was it 4 or 5? That year was just crazy to me. You got the Clippers at number 2 in the NBA right now, and you got Kawhi and Paul George, deserving. Okay, you got the Lakers. Lakers were, first in the West for a little bit, for some time, and then Utah, took over. But for the most part, the Lakers have been number 2 in the West for a while until they started messing up recently. So LeBron needs to be there. I think LeBron is an MVP candidate. Go back and watch the video that I posted. And then you have Anthony Davis. People fail to realize how great of a player Anthony Davis really is. Anthony Davis is a player that, he can put up 30 and 10 on a terrible team. But on a team like the Lakers, 23 and 9 or 23 and 8, people forget that Anthony Davis is legit. He's been in the league, like I said, 9 years, and he's made the All-Star game 8 of those 9 years. So he deserved to be there. Now with the injury, it now creates another spot for somebody else. 4th seed in the West right now is Phoenix. Devin Booker did not make the All-Star team. My guy Brad said, Devin Booker, he's immature. And, Chris Paul has come into this team and literally, put this team as a top 4 team in the West. So you gotta understand why Chris Paul is getting the love that he's getting right now. But honestly, I felt that Devin Booker should have been here, but he's not. But that's not the end of the world. Maybe he gets in. But to be honest, this next team and this next guy that I'm about to talk about, they really deserve somebody in the All-Star game. When you look at the San Antonio Spurs, they were terrible last year. They were trash. It was like one of the first few years that the Spurs did not make it to the playoffs. But as you're looking at it here, the Spurs are 16-11, and the Spurs are literally the 5th seed in the West. And the West is tough. So what does that mean? Why is it that the Spurs don't have an all-star to represent their success this year? DeMar DeRozan, ultra snub. We talked about it. Little Cassie went on and put that into the comments, so I put that on the screen. Yeah, DeMar DeRozan, huge snub. He should have definitely been an all-star. Then you look at Portland. You look at what Dame is doing. They are 18-13 right now. No Nurkic, no CJ McCullough. They've had injuries. They've had guys in and out. So Dame Lillard literally possibly should have been starting this year. But it's a popularity contest. The fans wanted Luka. But Dame, that was a no-brainer. Then the 7th seed, you have Denver at 17-14, and Nikola Jokic deserved to be there. Nikola Jokic is an MVP candidate this year, and he's balling out of control. Then you have Golden State. Did Steph make it? Let me go back and look at my list real quick. I think Steph is a starter. Yeah. Steph made it. He's a starter. If I'm not mistaken, it's Luka Steph. Yeah. So Steph made it. He is a starter. Because when you don't have the starters in front of you, it sometimes messes with your mind. But yeah, Steph did make it. He's a starter. That's a no-brainer. He's kept this team relevant. They are 17-15 right now. And the beauty of this season is that play-in tournament is going to be a game changer. I think that the NBA should keep that play-in tournament because now you have Dallas, who's now 15-15. Luka hit that crazy game-winning shot today. Shout out to Luka, man. Luka's amazing. I'm going to read a quote before I end this pod. But, Memphis, they had nobody. 13-14. You could have made a case for John Morant, but he missed so many games. So, yeah, Memphis doesn't really deserve anybody in this All-Star game. Then you have New Orleans. They're 13-17, but the NBA loves Zion. The NBA is literally trying to make this guy the next face of the NBA. He's a very talented player. He sells a lot of tickets. He's must-see TV. He's exciting. He's the kind of player that you want to see in an All-Star game because he's going to dunk the ball. He's going to, is good for ratings. You can possibly say that Zion was put in for ratings. When you have guys like LeBron and some of these other top stars saying that they're not thrilled to play in this All-Star game, and then you have a guy that's young, up and coming like Zion, yeah, you kind of mix it up. There's a reason why Levine is in the game. There's a reason why Zion is in the game. It's a popularity contest. It's it's for fun. But with 13-17 record with the stats, did he really deserve to make the All-Star team? Let me know in the comments. Now we move on to Sacramento. De'Aaron Fox has been amazing this year, and it's crazy that he didn't make the All-Star team. I know the West is loaded with so many guards. Then you got OKC. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he's an All-Star. But when you have a 12-19 record, when, no impact, nobody really watches OKC games. So I was not really expecting any All-Stars out of OKC. But when you look at the numbers, when you look at the stats and what this guy does, he should have been an All-Star. Then you go to Houston. They have an 11-18 record right now. John Wall's first season in Houston, he's playing out of his mind. He has been in and out of the lineup, but when they had Christian Woods, they were winning games. And ever since Christian Woods have been hurt, they've lost so many games. So he's definitely a piece that, I felt had Christian Woods been healthy, who knows? Maybe Houston has a top 7 record, maybe a top 8 record, and maybe John Wall pushes himself into the All-Star game. But Christian Woods, honestly, though, had he been healthy, he deserved to be an All-Star. This guy's putting up phenomenal numbers. Go check out his numbers. Then Minnesota, they have nobody worth being an All-Star, although you do have Beasley, who's had a good season, but that's more so setting them up for a trade or a big payday down the line. So my question to you guys is, who do you think was deserving? Do you guys agree with the All-Star list? Do you guys agree with the players that were selected? Do you guys who do you guys think was the biggest snub? Let me know in the comments. Once again, guys, this is Manny, and this is another episode of Talking Sports with Manny. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to subscribe, like, comment, and I am on audio. I am on Apple, Spotify, some of the top, anywhere you hear, podcasts. Go ahead and subscribe. I got some amazing stuff coming up. We got fantasy football stuff. We have NFL stuff. We have NBA stuff, and as things start to heat up with NFL free agency, I'm going to be dropping some content. Got some awesome guests coming up. 2 nights from now, I have a very big time guest coming. I got a guy from ESPN coming next week. So I appreciate you guys rocking with me, man. Oh, somebody just came in. Yeah, I was simply talking NBA All-Star reserves and snubs. So my question to everybody was, do you agree with, the list? Did the NBA get it right? And then part 2 of that question is, who do you feel was the biggest snub? All right, y'all, I'm out.